Very first gut reaction to hearing that it was pardoned was, what a terrible lesson to teach your boys.
This Utah pharmacist was not happy to learn rapper NBA YoungBoy is now a free man.
I got the lyric. It said, I'd change my life tonight if Donald Trump reduced my sentence. He not only reduced his sentence, he pardoned you.
All that good
It's hard. That's hard.
Why would Donald Trump, the same man who once called for the death penalty for 5 innocent black teens, go out of his way to pardon 3 rappers? Not just any rappers. These were artists who had criminal records, dissed him publicly, and brought controversy wherever they went. NBA YoungBoy, Lil Wayne, Kodak Black. 3 names that don't exactly scream White House approved. But that's exactly what happened. He didn't just forgive them, he granted them the highest form of political mercy in America, presidential clemency. So, what's really going on here? Because this isn't about justice. This isn't about second chances. This is about something much darker. Control, influence, and power moves disguised as mercy. This isn't just a political move, it's a game of chess played with real people, real lives, and real influence. When a man like Trump makes a decision like this, it's not spontaneous. It's calculated, strategic, engineered for maximum impact. Let's dive deeper. The pattern nobody saw. Trump didn't just wake up one day and decide to forgive rap's most controversial figures. Let's be clear. Presidential pardons are typically reserved for politicians, war heroes, or financial criminals. White-collar crooks with expensive lawyers, not artists with mugshots and mixtapes. Yet here we are. Lil Wayne caught with a loaded weapon on a private jet, pardoned. Kodak Black hit with weapons charges and a long sentence, pardoned. NBA YoungBoy, one of the most volatile figures in modern hip-hop, also given clemency. This wasn't random. This wasn't justice. It was something else entirely. It was a deliberate pattern of influence building done through unconventional channels. Trump wasn't appealing to the mainstream. He was reaching for something more powerful, control over cultural influence, control over hip-hop's loudest voices. But the question is, what kind of pattern was this? A PR stunt? A loyalty test? Or a sign of something deeper? Loyalty for sale. The game behind the scenes. Just before the 2020 election, a photo surfaced. Lil Wayne smiling next to Donald Trump, giving a thumbs up. The internet exploded. Why would Wayne, a man who once rapped about police brutality and systemic oppression, suddenly cozy up to Trump? 2 months later, he was pardoned. And Kodak Black? He went from releasing anti-Trump music to publicly thanking him in all caps. Trump the GOAT became his mantra. Was it coincidence? Or was it compensation? Because here's the harsh truth. In Washington, nothing is free. Not even forgiveness. These rappers weren't just getting their records cleaned, they were becoming symbols. Weapons of influence. If Trump could make his enemies kneel, he could sell it as proof of dominance, not mercy. This was never about rehabilitation. It was about transactional power. The puppet masters. Who really pulled the strings? Let's talk names. Brett Barish, Chief Executive Officer of Sovereign Brands, wine mogul, close to Wayne, and the guy who allegedly pitched Wayne's pardon to Trump. He didn't do it because of a friendship. He did it because Wayne was good for business, and Barish needed Wayne free. Sovereign Brands had been heavily promoted by Wayne for years, and with Wayne facing prison time, one of the company's most valuable marketing partners was about to disappear. Then there's the rabbi. Yes, a Jewish rabbi from Fort Lauderdale helped push Kodak's pardon through. Kodak had started aligning himself with Jewish traditions in prison. Suddenly, faith became a bridge, a political pawn. But why this rabbi, and why Kodak? The rabbi was connected to an organization called Downtown Jewish, a South Florida nonprofit with quiet but powerful ties to influential donors in D.C. This wasn't just religious outreach, it was lobbying, dressed in spiritual garb. And don't forget Bernie Kerik, former NYPD commissioner and Trump loyalist. He backed Kodak too. He owed Trump pardoned him for tax fraud. This was payback. But Kerik's involvement wasn't casual. He has ties to national security agencies, New York real estate moguls, and private intelligence groups. When Kerik gets involved, it's not because he likes your music, it's because your name is worth something. So who's really pulling the strings? Look at the layers. Music executives like Barish who profit off influence, religious leaders who serve as political conduits, and ex-law enforcement officers with quiet power networks. They all converge around the one thing that unlocks presidential action: access. But even deeper, who allows these names to hold such sway? Who funds these networks? Who benefits when artists flip from critic to compliant mouthpiece? Some point to conservative think tanks, donors, and dark money packs that view black celebrity voices as valuable tokens in culture wars. Others whisper about intelligence agencies watching the cultural sphere more closely than we think, because influence, after all, is the new warfare. What we're seeing here isn't just a favor system. It's a shadow economy of favors and influence, where rappers are leveraged, image is weaponized, and loyalty is bought in public with decisions made in private. This wasn't about redemption, it was about control. A legal web, the lawyers with presidential access NBA. Youngboy's lawyer wasn't just any defense attorney. Brittany Barnett is known in legal circles as the Pardon Whisperer. She helped get Alice Johnson out. Remember her? Life sentence for a non-violent drug crime. Pardoned by Trump, then hired by Trump. Yes, the same woman she helped free was brought into Trump's inner circle. Barnett's mom even served time for a similar charge. This woman knows the system, and more importantly, she knows who controls it. Hiring her wasn't just a smart move, it was strategic warfare. NBA Youngboy and his team knew what they were doing, because if you want mercy in America, you need more than just innocence. You need the right person with the right pipeline to the Oval Office. It's not about justice, it's about who you know, morality or money. The pardon economy. The White House claims these pardons were about second chances, but let's look at the money. Kodak Black donated $50,000 to small businesses in Florida, paid for back-to-school drives, Christmas gifts, all conveniently timed. Good PR? Maybe. Calculated move? Definitely. Lil Wayne reportedly backed Trump's tax plans. Kodak posted MAGA-supporting tweets. The narrative shifted. These weren't just rappers, they were messengers. And in politics, messengers are worth more than voters. Because when a popular rapper says, "I support Trump," millions listen. Millions repost. Millions think twice. That's the kind of currency politicians crave. And make no mistake, these pardons weren't charity. They were investments. Was it the Mormons? Now let's get weird. In 2023, NBA Youngboy publicly claimed he wanted to be baptized into the LDS Church, the Mormons. Why would one of the most dangerous, unfiltered voices in hip-hop want to align himself with a religion known for clean living, conservative values, and global influence? Because influence is power, and the Mormon Church has plenty of it. The LDS Church is one of the richest religious institutions on earth. Their money moves silently but effectively. Their presence is global. They fund schools, media, tech startups, even political campaigns. So when YB starts aligning with them, it's not just spiritual, it's strategic. Was it faith? Or was it leverage? Some claim the church's financial backing could make them a player in politics behind the scenes. But if that's true, why haven't they tried to pardon someone like Larry Hoover? The Gambit? When even Kanye couldn't win, founder of the Gangster Disciples. A symbol of urban rebellion, activism, and feared authority. Kanye West pleaded Larry Hoover, the co-founder of the Gangster Disciples, was once considered one of the most notorious gang leaders in America. Convicted in 1997 for running a criminal enterprise from prison, he was serving 6 federal life sentences in addition to a 200-year state sentence for a 1973 murder. Despite his claims of rehabilitation and renunciation of gang life, Hoover's attempts at sentence reduction were repeatedly denied by the courts. In a surprising turn of events, President Donald Trump commuted Hoover's federal sentences in May 2025. This decision followed years of advocacy from high-profile figures, notably rapper Kanye West, who personally appealed to Trump during a 2018 White House meeting and organized a free Larry Hoover benefit concert with Drake in 2021. The commutation does not mean Hoover is free. He continues to serve his state sentence. However, the move has sparked discussions about the influence of celebrity advocacy on presidential decisions and the complexities of the criminal justice system. While some view the commutation as a step toward acknowledging rehabilitation, others express concern over the message it sends regarding accountability for serious crimes. Hoover's case remains a focal point in debates about justice, redemption, and the power dynamics between public figures and political authority. From disses to deals, when clout meets corruption. Kodak once rapped against Trump. NBA Youngboy cursed his name back in 2017. Now they're tweeting thanks. Now they're being used as talking points on conservative news shows. Trump's music playlist didn't include hip-hop before, but now he understood the leverage. He didn't need to like the music, he just needed the artists. These rappers, once loud voices of rebellion, had become political pawns, not because they changed, but because they were bought. False prophets and fake peace. The Chicago lie. Let's talk about Daryl Scott. Claimed he was brokering gang peace in Chicago during Trump's presidency. But anyone from the city knows there are no gang leaders, no sit-downs, no peace treaties. He was selling fiction, and fiction sells. Scott positioned himself as a faith leader and community bridge, but in reality, he was a PR device, Another tool in Trump's arsenal, just like Kodak, just like Wayne, just like anyone else who played the part. Manufactured peace, manufactured influence, and behind it, a system that rewards loyalty, not truth. What this reveals about power in America. This story isn't about rap, or Trump, or even politics. It's about a system that protects the powerful and marketable and forgets everyone else. If you've got a microphone and a few million followers, your sentence might vanish. If you don't, you'll rot. Justice isn't blind, it's selective. It listens to money, it listens to optics, and it listens to clout. That's what power looks like in modern America. The truth is stranger than fiction. Let's recap. 3 rappers with criminal records, 1 billionaire president, a trail of lawyers, rabbis, PR managers, and influencers. And in the middle of it all, the illusion of mercy. Trump didn't just pardon Kodak, Wayne, or YB, he bought their loyalty. And when Kanye tried to use his influence to free someone who threatened the establishment, they slammed the door. Because true power doesn't fear crime, it fears disruption. This isn't a conspiracy theory, it's a blueprint. And if pardons are for sale, what else is? The Diddy dilemma, Trump's next pardon controversy. In a twist that has captivated both political and entertainment spheres, President Donald Trump has indicated he would consider pardoning music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, who is currently on trial in New York on federal charges including sex trafficking and racketeering. During a recent press conference, Trump stated, "I would certainly look at the facts," emphasizing that he hadn't been closely following the trial and hadn't spoken to Combs in years. This potential pardon is particularly controversial given the gravity of the allegations against Combs. The trial has featured testimonies from multiple witnesses, including Combs' former assistant, who accused him of repeated sexual assault and abuse. Federal prosecutors allege that Combs exploited his power in the music industry to coerce women into participating in drug-fueled sexual events. Adding to the intrigue, reports suggest that Combs' legal team may be exploring the possibility of a presidential pardon. While no formal request has been made, Trump acknowledged, "I think some people have been very close to asking." The prospect of a pardon has sparked widespread debate, with critics arguing that it would undermine the seriousness of the charges and the judicial process. Supporters, however, point to Trump's history of granting clemency to high-profile individuals, suggesting that a pardon for Combs would be consistent with his previous actions. As the trial continues, the possibility of a presidential pardon looms, raising questions about justice, influence, and the intersection of celebrity and politics. Whether Trump will ultimately grant clemency to Combs remains to be seen, but the very consideration of such a move underscores the complex dynamics at play in this high-stakes legal drama. Presidential pardons have always been political, but this was cultural, strategic, viral. Donald Trump knew exactly what he was doing. He wasn't just granting freedom, he was starting conversations, influencing headlines, and reminding the world that power moves in ways we don't always expect. And whether you agree with his choices or not, one thing is clear. This story proved that influence isn't always about votes. Sometimes it's about voices. And these artists have some of the loudest in the world. So what happens next? Will another name be added to the list? Or was this a one-time flex of presidential power in the age of celebrity? Whatever the case, this moment won't be forgotten. Because in a world where music meets politics, nothing is ever simple. And the next headline might be bigger than anyone expects.